that most of the buildings that have collapsed are not government buildings. And it brings to focus what individuals do when they're putting up their buildings.
Yes.
Do they also consult the structural engineer in their private structures?
Well, a lot of people out there don't. They don't, especially within the fold of our, of our other professional colleagues in the built environment. You see, when things are going well, everybody is a professional. And
don't forget that, pardon me to butt in, the reason why some of them don't, from what we found out, is they say you're too expensive.
How much did they say we charge?
No, we didn't ask that because,
exactly.
Because by the time you give them all this analysis and definition of what they need to do, he just scratches his head and says, look, how long? They want to cut corners.
Please,
they can't afford it.
Please, point of correction. You see, globally, every practice of engineering has yardstick of payment. In Nigeria, there's what is called the Nigerian scale of fees, of payment of professional fees. This question you raised is very, very important because out of naivety, even learned people don't even bother. They just sit within the confines of their comfort zone and say, structural engineer, they are expensive. You understand me? You have a right to negotiate. I want to do this structure. I will charge you 1 million naira. I have 200,000 to pay.
Without dropping the standard of the structure.
Without dropping your standard. If as a registered structural engineer, a member of the Nigerian Institute of Structural Engineers, you contract me to design a structure for you, my certificate is at stake. Yes.
Are there still punitive measures?
Certainly.
How come we don't hear of them so much?
That's what I'm telling you, that if a member of the Nigerian Institute of Structural Engineers is found wanting, his certificate is withdrawn. So he will never try it. He will meticulously design your structure for you. You negotiate with him and pay accordingly.
Perhaps it's also a matter of ignorance, or, we know it all.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the times, a lot of people will say that when they think of structural engineers, they're thinking of bridges, they're thinking of big buildings, skyscrapers. They're not thinking of...
These are for government contractors.
Exactly, small duplexes, or even a bungalow, like you rightly pointed out. Nobody is thinking of, I want to build my house, I'm going to call a structural engineer. You're looking for a contractor, you're looking for somebody who, will deal with the masons and the big bricklayers and whatever. And basically that is how we operate here. Are you looking at making yourselves a little more accessible to the Nigerian public?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to address Nigerians and to prevent other lives that can possibly be lost between now and the nearest future. Please, fellow Nigerians, if you have the intention of developing anything from bungalow, I'm using the word bungalow, upwards, please use the services of a structural engineer, because it is structural engineering that makes your building to stand. It is absolutely necessary. A bungalow has elements, structural elements that can kill. Let me just give you a simple example. You see this door opening is about 1 meter. You have a client who wants to do a bungalow, and then he comes to the site one day and tells his contractor and say, look, this door is too small, just make it 2 meters. There's a structural element above that door that carries the load above it. We are reasoning logically now, even as laymen. By just increasing, just giving that instruction, verbal instruction to the contractor, say, just make it a double door. You may have increased the length from 1 meter to 2 meters. What is the structural engineering implication? The person is not building a 2-story building. He's building a simple bungalow. Simple. You understand what I'm saying? But what the client has done in structural engineering is to have increased the load on that structural member by 4. Because the member above it, which is the lintel now, we all know what lintel is now. I'm using that as a simple one so that we can understand it. That lintel, the moment on it, that is the load, which is the first load, the moment on it for a 1 meter door is WL squared over 8. W is the load times 1. L is the length of the space, which is 1 divided by 8. By just giving that instruction to the contractor to increase it to 2 meters, your WS squared over 8 will now become W times 2 squared over 8. 2 squared is 4. So he has multiplied the load, the weight, the load on that very element by 4. And if that lintel had been designed just for 1 meter width of space, that is danger looming. One day, a child will just be passing through that door, the lintel will come down.
And that's supposed to be a bungalow.
Exactly, a bungalow, a simple bungalow, not even a complex bungalow.
Well,
No verbal instruction.
Sammy says to ask you, who is responsible to testing or for testing the soil structure before the building design?
Soil engineers.
Are they also part of your association?
In those days, it used to be, but with specialization that has come into Nigeria, soil engineers now have their own area of specialization and they are practicing it.
Would you recommend that each or maybe structural engineers should teach builders? Because whether or not you like it, a lot of Nigerians will continue to use the average local builder or the people who they think have the knowledge. Do you think that to prevent such collapses, the structural engineers to reach out to those people who are commonly patronized by Nigerians?
Yes. You made mention of that initially. Perhaps as structural engineers, we should come out more. We should do more of this kind of enlightenment campaigns more. Don't blame us. We are perfect gentlemen. We are very conservative with what we do. We don't make noise, and we do that to a fault. But with the way things are going in the country, with 115 people killed, 84 of them foreigners, and the implications that go with all that, I think we should do that more. Come out more, do a lot of public enlightenment and all that. And for the benefit of Nigerians, I'm saying this categorically as the national president of the Nigerian Institution of Structural Engineers. I've already made provision for a helpline. You want to get something done in structural engineering, call this number. At least let us just give you free structural advice. At least just to guide you.
I think that will help.
It will not, please get me clearly. It is not going to make you build your building, but at least we can sound you out. We can give you free advice that can guide you on certain things that you need to do or not to do.
Because, I see Babatunde Alimi's question here in the same train of thought, saying it would be good to have structural engineers affordable to artisans, just as you've spoken, so that
exactly.
they can work together. I think you have to find a way to reach out, because those are the ones that, as my colleagues have pointed out, Nigerians reach out to time and again.
Exactly. In the built environment, it is teamwork. Nobody does it alone, from the architect to everybody that works in the team. And that synergy, there's synergy of professionals involved in the team. And it is there. It's just that somewhere along the line, some mediocres want to juxtapose their positions into what does not concern them.
Now, just quickly though, I don't know if you've seen the video of the collapse that happened. We've asked officials, they say it looks like a controlled collapse. I don't know if you saw the video from the CCTV camera. What do you think could have gone wrong as a structural engineer?
Madam, you see, that is our area of core competence. Collapses come in different forms.
Look at it. Just take a look at that.
Yes.
It just goes down like that.
Yes.
Like a pack of cards.
Beautiful. That is the right word.
How does that happen to such a huge structure?
You see, going down like a pack of cards is the right description. That is one form of collapse. Buckling failure. That is clearly a case of, you see, nature has a way of taking care of itself. In those days, we used to say the nature of nature is how to take care of itself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Action and reactions in science are equal and opposite. You build your structure block by block, layer by layer, going up. When it's going to come down due to excess load, it is going to come down the same way. That is what happened there. Nothing else. Assuming it was maybe excess wind that affected that structure, because wind can also collapse a structure. What will happen? the structure will sway. You understand me? And in trying to resist the force of the wind, if the force of the wind exceeds its ability to resist, it will fall by the side. If the wind comes from any of that or any of the four sides, it will fall on the opposite side. But this is a case of the building coming down, straight down, unhindered. Another way you can conceive it from the layman points of view is thinking of the word explosion. If you throw a bomb in a place, what happens? Boom. You know, the whole thing just goes out. But in structural engineering, if you want to bring down a high-rise building, if you pay me now, I can bring down a high-rise building in a built area for you. I have the technology. I may not have the equipment and all that. What do? You implode the structure. You understand me? You bring the structure down within itself, and then you clear it.
That's what it looks like.
Exactly.
All right. Could you give that helpline for those who may need it? Because I see them asking questions about it.
Yes. The phone number, yes, they can call 0803 329 0596.
All right. So in case they hope they can get it, but then we'll pass it across eventually or subsequently if they didn't. But we have to thank you for coming on this morning. Samuel Ilegbehai is the president, Nigerian Institute of Structural Engineers. Get one, who knows, the knife you may save. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll go for the headline news in just a moment. So Olubunde Macaulay is standing by, so we'll get to see him. That should be now, though.